And welcome to episode 2 of This Week in Yu-Gi-Oh! And a bit of a slow one today. I was actually considering delaying this tomorrow because tomorrow is the 24th of January, which is when Konami are going to finally drop that quote-unquote broken new non-effect monster for us, finally, that we're getting in the TCG from Raging Tempest. Now, rather than just delay this by a week, I thought might as well just cover the whole last week and kind of just go from next week as a separate thing. Obviously, we'll be doing separate videos by then, but the chances are they're going to have a lot of whole new kind of reveals and stuff over the course of the next week. I have a feeling there's going to be a whole bunch of news over the course of the next few days, so if I was to delay this by the day, I would lose out on stuff on like Thursday and then Friday, which I have a feeling there's probably going to be a whole bunch of stuff. So I mean, make sure you keep an eye on the channel because I'll be making sure to cover like the big news. I'll be doing a look at the dinosaur structure deck and a look at the true Dracos as well at some point. So yeah, rather than getting ahead of ourselves, let's just start with where we are today. This isn't really news, but for a lot, it's surprising how many people don't know when Raging Tempest is coming out. I believe the sneak peeks are in 2 weeks. No, sorry, I believe sneak peek is next week. And the actual release date of Raging Tempest is February 9th for us in the EU and 10th in the US. So, well, not really much to tell you except the fact that this is where Zoo is coming out. The format is essentially over now. There's no more major events. Maybe I think there's an ARG this weekend. No, that was last weekend, and that was just like state championships. So basically, like just mini regionals. So really, there's nothing else to do with this format. Honestly, the biggest thing that I can tell you to do in this like 10-minute week thing is to just say to you, just stop playing your decks. Well, don't stop playing your decks, but like just start reading the cards from Raging Tempest. Start looking at the new set. Look at all the new cards. Read everything. Read the new archetypes. Start learning Zodiacs. Even if you don't plan to play the deck, just learn it so you know what the combos are, so you know how to play against it, so you know what to stop. This is the time, really, now that we've had YCS Sydney, the regionals are kind of just starting to die down. There's going to be regionals every week, of course, so unless you have like a regional coming up like this weekend or the weekend after, it just start learning the set. Start reading everything. Read all the zoo cards. Don't read the Retrobee support. Don't read the Shadow support. No need. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of cool cards in here, and you know, it's something to look forward to, and I will be doing a bit more of an in-depth analysis of Raging Tempest. So really the biggest news that I can present to you this week is the fact that Raging Tempest is really soon. The sneak peek is next week, and it's time to start learning your decks going forward and how to play against the new set. New sets are always an exciting time. It's always a good time. This is where you need to start selling your cards as well, which I'll talk about at the end. This is where you need to start selling things you don't want to use anymore, buying things that are going to get hyped up, a whole bunch of things like that. So moving on, first bit of fun information, we have the theatrical promo card of Dark Sided Dimensions movie, and it is, well, Obelisk. Really cool art here. It's like a full like card secret. I mean, secret rares aren't usually like the entire card, are they? This looks like the entire like whole rim of the border and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're planning to go see this film, which I am with all my friends, with absolutely no drugs involved, this is a good thing to look forward to if you're into collecting this stuff. So Obelisk promo card. Don't know why it's in German. Somehow this was the leaked one, but yeah. So moving on to the meta for the past week. Well, apologies for like shameless promotion, but I mean, you know, I've been covering with a whole bunch of deck profiles the past week, this weekend rather, and I'll be doing them every weekend. Saturday, Sunday tends to be deck profile days, and we have ABC winning a regional, nothing really special. Joshua Schmidt won a regional in Germany with his Paleozoic deck. Frogs, really, it's just the bottom list. Honestly, this is why I'm saying you need to start looking forward to Raging Tempest, because the format is just essentially just done now. Like it's time to go forward. So ABC, Frogs, nothing really out of the ordinary for the meta. Honestly, most of the tops, rather than saving you time of looking through the channel and looking at all the different deck profiles, most of the tops that I didn't feature are decks that have just been done to death by now. So lots of ABCs top, lots of Metal Foes, stuff you would expect. This, you know, that's really it. There's one little point as well about DDD that I want to mention at the end of the this little segment here. But moving on to another deck profile here, we have first place Burning Abyss, pure Burning Abyss. But this is literally 2016 summer Burning Abyss list, like pre PK Fire, where everyone thought pure BA was still better than PK Fire. Somehow this won a regional, but yeah. Burning Abyss with literally the same list basically as two years ago is still topping and winning regionals. So I mean, that's really the only shock and surprise. I had that up twice, and then finally, really for the TCG, we have Cosmo making a resurgence of all decks. Yes, Cosmo somehow. Alpe Engen won an entire regional in Germany with 250 people, I believe, with Cosmo. The list I showed is a little bit off. I didn't show a side deck. The Herald obviously was meant to be a pure light, not arc light. I don't know how I didn't catch on that, but yeah. Essentially a very similar list to Uri, as you can see here. This is a video within a video within a video. So, you can go check out his video, which I just uploaded actually right now. But essentially, if we look at his list, it's, well, I mean, it's basically Alpe's list. I mean, they're pretty close friends with each other, so I would imagine that they worked on the list together. But yeah, I mean, we're looking at Cosmo. That's just Cosmo. I mean, it's just Cosmo. It's just Shining Victories Cosmo. What with D barriers? That's all that changed. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling. I don't think it really means anything. So really, what you're going to take away from this meta-analysis is everything is just solved. The format is solved. A little bit of a nuance here and there with DDDs, which I'll show you here. Now DDDs took 4th place at the regionals here. That my friend Anthony topped. He got 4th place with an Armageddonite build. For those of you purists who absolutely despise that card, there is Vlad's list here, which he got 6th place with DDDs. DDDs doing kind of decent actually. They had quite a few tops in Ireland. I'm curious to see how the Americans play the DDDs and how it's going to be this weekend. So tune in for next week to see how much more of an impact DDD was making. Surprisingly, DDD not making that big of an impact at all in the UK. I was expecting 1st place, well, 1st place, a couple of tops, a lot more tops, but they were definitely not anywhere near as strong as, well, they just can't play through, Buster set 2 or Paleozoic set 5 Toad. They just can't do it seems. So nothing really surprising, honestly. The deck is good, but not super broken. I mean, it's gonna be fun for until Raging Tempest, but when Raging Tempest comes out, safe to say that the deck is going to really struggle. Of course, there's a lot of you guys who are gonna do your best to make this work, which is fair enough. Love to see how it evolves around Zodiac, but for the most part, I think that this deck is, well, a little bit of just a fun interlude between now and Zoo. Onto the OCG, looking at the metagame report. This is kind of hard to take away anything really relevant for us because of the fact that they're now 2 sets ahead of us. They have Raging Tempest and Masker Restrict, what? Maximum Crisis as part of their meta now. So as we can see here from this chart, we have True Dracos and Zodiac taking basically over 2/3 each. We can basically interpret from the fact that True Dracos are really good, but then you need to consider the fact that these True Draco decks, most of them have Zoo in them. So we're looking forward to, I guess, I mean, if you guys are preparing for Worlds already, what you can learn from this is, well, we're going to have a lot of Maximum Crisis being involved and Zoo. So if you want to get to Worlds, you want to start practicing for Euros now, and you want to start practicing for Nationals now, well, you better start reading these True Draco cards and these Zodiac cards. And we do have a bit of a Lightsworn Zoo in here, as well as some Infernoid Zoo. But for the most part, it looks like True Dracos and Zoo variants are going to make up most of the summer meta for this year. In terms of what it's going to do for us over here in the TCG, well, look back to last week's episode. We had Eidolon variants, Zoo variants of Eidolon, Eidolon variants of Zoo, and Zoo variants of Eidolon, vice versa. There's mixes and matches of all kinds of these things that basically make up the entire meta, and it's what we're going to have going forward. So basically just Zoo and Eidolon and everything else with Zoo mixed in, basically. New card we had this week, it's called let me just get that name back again real quick. Contract with Dawn 1000. It is from the OCG, sorry, from the anime, and it's being printed in the 20th anniversary pack second wave. More a little bit of information, I'll talk about that in just a second. Very degenerate card, very ignorant card. Basically, continuous spell card. You can only activate one per turn. When this card is activated, each player loses 1,000, and then each player draws one. Each player reveals and keeps revealing every card drawn while this card is in the spell and trap zone, as well as every card drawn by this card's effect. Each player revealing a spell card because of this effect cannot normal or set monsters. So really, it's just another draw card. It's somehow going to be abused, I would say. It's not obviously on the level of Chicken Game, because that thing was ridiculous. But just the fact that it's just a free card that you can just play and draw. Yeah. It's not great, I'll tell you that much. It's really not great, but you kind of like see when draw cards are like part of the meta, or well, not really part of the meta, but whenever draw cards are mentioned at all, you kind of have the impression that somewhere, somehow down the line, someone is going to make some stupid Exodia burn FTK bullshit with it. So yeah, I don't really like it. Like just a generic draw card, I don't like where wow, like it's not very innovative like card design, I'd say. But yeah, we'll see what it does going forward. Structure deck coming out. I think we've got a new official release date for this in the TCG. The dinosaur deck. I'll be doing a more deeper look at this, but this is the stuff that we mentioned last week with Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. We're going to have a lot more information on this. We don't have a lot of the cards confirmed yet for TCG, but more to come essentially. But yeah, we're going to get a very powerful deck as a structure. So I'm really glad to see that Konami are taking that kind of approach with the sort of, you know, availability of the meta. Not too sure how meta this is going to be in summer when we're in a format of Zoo True Draco, but we'll wait and see. Coinciding with that being released as a sort of pair, we have the machine structure deck. So dinosaur structure deck, machine structure deck. The machine stuff is essentially lots of ancient gear cards, a lot of like anime stuff getting printed as new cards. Gonna get some reprints, gonna get a lot of new cards as well. Don't really know too much about it yet, at least in terms of TCG and what we know for sure is coming. So we'll be doing a closer look at this as more information comes in. Next piece of news we have is the 20th anniversary pack. Now this is essentially just what you can kind of just like, you know, remember the mega packs we had here? Well, Japan's kind of getting it because it's like a whole bunch of like just reprints. Most of this stuff is just reprints. I believe there's a couple of new cards, but there's all kinds of crazy things here, like a holographic parallel rare Blue Eyes White Dragon. But this is for the OCG. For the OCG, they're getting this. On our side, we're getting an equivalent of this called Duelist Saga. Duelist Saga is released on March 30th here. So this is a pretty cool set. There's going to be 40 brand new cards apparently, and support for like these archetypes here. But most importantly, a lot of reprints. We have confirmed Black Rose Dragon, which is a generically, you know, really good card to have. Stardust as well is a very good generic card that you can just have as a reprint. Problem is, however, these cards have been reprinted to death that it's like everyone probably has one right now or can afford one. So hopefully we'll see more of the cool stuff. In the OCG, they had a whole bunch of reprints in their announced in their Duelist packs, in their anniversary pack, like Hornet, Dragonfly, Infernity Launcher, a whole bunch of old cards, but like really good cards. So not too sure if that's anything to do with the ban list, not too sure if that's saying anything, but we'll see. Now onto the marketplace. We have I'm going to begin first of all with cards that I think would be good that are dropping right now. I opened the page with Zephyr there. Oops, spoilers. But yeah, basically cards that are dropping right now. The Infernoid archetype. If we look at this graph here, we had a bit of a climb, a spike at some point last week, but dipping back down to normal levels. If any of you guys are planning to play lawn mowing, this is a good time to pick up Infernoids. As you can see, the only other really expensive card would be Deviati and Anunku, which are ultras, I believe, and there's a ultimate Anunku as well. that card's really expensive, but on the plus side, Inferno Dononku comes as a reprint, so there is that $1 option for you. A really good deck to pick up right now if you guys are considering playing Infernoids. This is the best time. Like I said at the very beginning, Raging Tempest is soon. Start making your buys, start making your sells, start like investing. This is the time for this to take place. So Infernoids dropping, Psyframes, not Psyframes, but Omega, the only relevant Psyframe, dropping as well. Nothing too spiky, but it's still really expensive, so if you plan to play this at some point in the future, I think I'm going to hold on to mine. I think it's going to have some sort of relevance. It's just a generically good level 8 synchro, and I don't think it's at risk on being hit on the ban list for like banned. I think it could potentially be semied or limited, but banned, no, I don't think they'll ban it. It's not very broken enough. It's really good, but it doesn't do anything that's super unfair. So I think this is worth keeping, even though the price is dropping. If you really don't see yourself playing a deck that involves making level 8 synchros whatsoever, would have been a little bit better to sell last week, but selling this week, you could get away with it, honestly. You can maybe hold on to Raging Tempest. Like, again, these cards are so unpredictable because of the fact that they're so generic, and someone could just come up with some combo out of the blue and it would just be like really good. So as far as we can see currently, it's a little bit down. Ghost Ogres are spiking. Obviously this is the secret rare I'm looking at, but on the plus side there is a cheaper alternative. But if you have your secret Ghost Ogres, this is a good time to let go of them if you're not interested in the rarity. Very good hand trap next set. Something to consider if you have a lot of these. Dinosaurs are spiking to fuck. Lagia has increased. I don't even know what kind of percent this is. This is like 500% like increase of Lagias. Good thing again is it's a 10 card, so very easy to get a hold of if you do plan to play the dinosaur deck in the summer. I think this is maybe just initial hype. I'm sure the cards will die down eventually, but yeah, dinosaurs hyping. Number 38 still rising somehow, still rising all the way up at like 15 euros, really. Just absolutely bonkers. Like, if you don't plan to play DDD, sell this card. Like, just if you don't care about DD, sell this card. Why aren't you people selling this? Like, just get rid of this. You're gonna make yourself back so much money. I bought mine for like £4 back like last year when it came out. You know, it's a good card. It's a great card, but like, you know, there's rank 8s are not relevant for a long time unless you're playing DDs. I can tell you that much. So just get rid of this now, before it gets like reprinted in Duelist Saga, which it could be, you know. Super Agents crashing. This is potentially a good card to pick up because, well, we really just don't know with Konami. Like, I'm pretty sure we're gonna finally see the new wave of support this week released. It has to be something so spectacular, or this deck is just gonna crash and burn. I don't think it's gonna be that good. So if you have your Super Agents, get rid of them. Amaterasu, this is a very interesting card. So on to things that I think you should pick up. Pick up Amaterasu if you want to have a little bit of a gamble. This is the Ghost Rare looking at. It's pretty cheap. This card, someday that Bujin Pendulum monster is going to be released, and this card is going to be so good, and it's going to spike like nothing has ever spiked before. Like, Ghost Rares aren't a thing anymore, so this card is going to skyrocket. If you think that you can make use of the Bujin Pendulum card, if you know combos with it and you want to play it, the problem is we don't know when, but if you're feeling a bit risky, pick up some Ghost Rare Bujin Te Amaterasus. At least get yourself one, because, you know, that Bujin Pendulum could drop anytime, and this card is so good. It just does a lot of unfair things. Definitely worth picking up. Bujin Te Kagasuchi again is another good pickup if you plan to play any form of like Zoo rank 4 deck with Beast Warriors. So if you're planning to play like Fire Fist, Quackimeru, Zoo, you're probably laughing like, what do you mean, why would you play that? Like, Zoo in anything makes any deck great. Seriously. So like, this is good in the Infernoid deck. I believe there's ways to make this. If you have a Minerva for some reason, you can play this in the Lightsworn version. So this is a good pickup. And one final pickup I will suggest is Zephyra. Zephyra cards are getting a lot of support, and they're pretty decent. Not like game breaking, but if for those of you who do enjoy the deck, pick up your oracles now and you'll do well with that. So that's really it for the marketplace. Again, this has been a bit of a slow week. all I can really say, and all the things that I would really recommend that you do, is just go out there, start learning your Raging Tempest. Tune in for the 60-second version of this tomorrow, or perhaps potentially later tonight. Let me know what you guys think down below, and tune in next week. And this has been This Week in Yu-Gi-Oh!